Alright, hello once again, this is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and as part of the Rankin Technical College AWD, or Application and Website Development Program, and in particular the AWD 1111.NET Framework with Web Databases class, I have been creating a series of video presentations based on the textbook we are going to be using for the class for the fall 2019 semester. That textbook being Pro ASP.NET MVC 5, an A-Press text by Adam Freeman. We are in the middle of Chapter 5, and I left off last time where we made a couple changes and we let the system know that our major file, instead of being that layout, or instead of using layout _ layout.cs HTML, all right, we changed that file, our view start file, so we're using our basic layout. So we've created our own layout. How's that? And to show you it did not change anything, there we go. We're back to where we were when we started, so nothing new there. All right. Left off then on the bottom of page 103. The author says here right up above that, it's important to understand the difference between omitting a layout property and setting it to no. If the view is self-contained, meaning you're doing everything inside of the view, and you do not want to use a layout, set it to no. If you omit it, the MVC framework assumes you do want a layout, and you should use whatever it finds in view start. Well, we're going to go on now and talk about shared layouts, because a lot of times what you'll do is you'll create a layout so that you can use it amongst multiple files. So the author says here, as just a quick little demo, let's add a new action method to the home controller called name and price. All right, so here it is. Find our home controller, go down towards the bottom here, and there's name and price. All right, looks very similar to the index, except the name, of course, is different. All right, but other than that, it really looks the same. Same return value, both public, etc. All right, hopefully you can see what's coming here. The action method passes the myProduct just like the index does. All right, it says this is not something you would do in a real project, but it's being done just to show you some functionality. All right, now notice in here we are going to do the use the layout page, which I guess earlier I should have left blank. No problem. But we want name and price. So let's come in here, right mouse click, add view, name and price. I think we want it to be empty again, and I think we want it to use product again. Whether we have the referencing the script libraries or not is kind of irrelevant, but let's see. Name and price, empty product models. They don't have reference script libraries, so I guess we should get it out also. Okay, looks the same. Click add. All right. Whoa. Okay. It says ensure that the use layout box is checked, and notice the text beneath the text field. It says that you should leave the text box empty if you have specified a view that you want to use. All right, well, I already went past that, so let's go look at what they say here. That's what they're talking about right there. I want to explicitly specify the view, so click the button on the ellipsis label that is to the right of the text field, and Visual Basic, well, I should have clicked there. So I'll tell you what, let's do this. It's a simple fix. All right, let's get rid of that view. Just went a little too fast here. All right, it's gone. Right mouse click again on name and price. choose Add View, name and price. This should be empty. This, for the model class, should be our product model. That use a view, that should be checked. We should click here. All right. You can already see what we have. What we want to choose is, I believe, under views here and under home. Well, maybe not. So where is it under? We want this one. It looks like it's under shared. I don't see it there. There we go. There's our basic layout right there. The convention for an MVC product or project is to place layout files in the views folder, but it's only a convention. Okay? We've defined just the one file here. We also have view start right there. So we want to click the OK button here. All right, now we've got it. So we click the Add button. Now not only does it create it, but notice it sets our view up for us. Okay, now this isn't a big thing, but I do want to mention, it's not mentioned in the books, but I'm just going to mention it right now. This is the title. It's kind of run together here. This is just the title that's going to appear in the tab, I believe. So putting a name and price like that doesn't hurt a doggone thing. All right, so we've got name and price, and they want us to put in here the product name is @model dot, again, IntelliSense name, and it costs with a $sign to actually physically put in a $sign, model dot price. All right, so file, save all. Let's run this, because they tell you to navigate your way over to home, name and price. So that's why I'm doing it like this. All right, here it comes. Ideally, it'll look just like it does on the middle of page 106, which is this right here. Product name, name and price. The product name is Kayak, and it costs $275. And you can see it. There's other ways that this can be done. Is this the best way? I'm just going to say that this is the way that the author chose. All right. I don't think it's really for me to say when somebody does something, did they do it the best way or did they not do it the best way? All right. I think we're going to put some Razer code in here right now. In fact, the next section that's in here is entitled Using Razer Expressions. So the author says now he's going to return or turn to different kinds of expressions that are supported by Razer. So in other words, all right, in many ways, we're just going to be writing some straight code here. All right. There is a clear separation between the role of the action method and the role of the view. The action method rather, I think that's pass a view model object to the view. It doesn't pass formatted data. And the view uses the view model object to present content, but it doesn't change. You know, I remember as a little kid, my dad or my mother giving me that old saying, a place for everything and everything in its place. In much the same way, what we're saying right here is what the action method does is it passes information. but it doesn't do any formatting. What the view does is it does formatting, but it doesn't change anything that's in the view model object. All right? And he says, I'm going to come back to this theme throughout the book. To get the best from the MVC framework, you need to respect and enforce this separation. Equally, you should not format the data with the action method we just mentioned then. Okay? So the author says, even though I knew which properties I needed to display, I passed the complete product object to the view model. Then I used the Razer @model expression syntax in the view to get the name and to get the price. The author says, I could have created the string I wanted to in the action method and passed it, it would have worked, but as mentioned, it undermines the benefit of the MVC pattern. Same rules we just talked about. But they say, remember that the MVC framework does not enforce the proper use of the pattern. So for lack of better words, you're kind of on your own. And, again, it's kind of like, let's assume for a second that you're going through a small town, and the town, let's say, either doesn't have a police department or the police are out doing something else. All right, so it's assumed that if the speed limit goes down in the town, that you will go the speed limit. Why? Well, if for no other reason, because it's the right thing to do. All right, processing versus formatting data. Again, it's important to differentiate, as it says here on the top of page 108, the difference between processing data and formatting it. Views format data. So they're not changing it, they're changing the appearance, but not the data itself. Processing data, which includes selecting what to display, should be the responsibility of the controller, whereas the formatting is the responsibility of the view. So the controller calls the model to get and modify the data it requires. And as the author says here, it can sometimes be hard to figure out where the line between processing and formatting begins and ends, but as a rule of thumb, he recommends on erring on the side of caution and pushing anything except the most simple expressions out of the view and into the controller. We've talked about this before. All right. Inserting data values. The simplest thing that you can do with a Razer expression is to insert a data value into the markup. You can do this using the @model expression. We've already done it. We've seen examples of these, but as it says for completeness, the author has added a new action method to the home controller called demo expressions that passes data to the view using a model object and the view bag. So the new stuff starts here on the bottom of page 108. Right mouse click and click copy. Going back to our home controller, down to the bottom of it, paste it in. We'll get, well, I guess we don't get an error. I believe that it's not everything, but that's most. Okay. Oh, we're not returning anything right now, which is why we're getting that error right here. Plus, I've got a curly missing. How I did that. All right. But on page 109, at the top of the page in our textbook, we've got the rest of it, which is right here. There's the rest of it. That's now our error has disappeared. All right. Then we're supposed to go in and create a strongly typed view named demo expression and show the basic expressions. Okay, so You already know how to do this. We're going to right mouse click on here. We're going to choose Add View. Keep it Demo Expressions. Change it to Empty. Change this to Product. Notice it automatically picks up that we want to use the basic layout. And click Add. That should be everything as far as I know. So we got our Add Model. Demo Expression here, which again I'm going to change and make it 2 words. We've got our layout. Since we put that layout into the since this is in our view start, we shouldn't need that anymore. Let's double check. There it is. We should not need this line. All right. And we want to change this. We want to put in the code that's shown on page 109, which is this table. And as the author mentioned, he created a simple HTML table and used the properties of the model object and the view bag to populate some of the cells. So ideally, when we bring this up, it's going to look like this. A little ugly, but the author says he's just done this to reconfirm what we've done thus far, that it works the way that we think it'll work, that it looks the way we think it'll look. All right, I can leave that demo expression there. It's not going to hurt anything. So. We don't even have to move over to that. We are at the demo expression, so let's just right mouse click on demo expression, view that in the browser. And again, you can see the formatting isn't stellar, but it looks okay. Product information, then inside of our box, demo expression, the name, the property and the value, the name, the price, and the stock level. It actually does all line up, but we probably would have wanted another tab or something here. All right, so as it says here on 110, the result is not pretty because we have not applied any CSS styles to the HTML elements that the view layout generates, but the example reinforces the way in which basic Razer expressions can be and should be used to display data passed from an action method to the view. All right, so let's stop. All right, and we are now on page 110, setting attribute values. Before we go on, we're at 18 minutes, so I will see you in the next lesson.